Hey guys, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, which means it's time to sit down and catch up with a little bit of a vlog. I know I used the Priest class hall from Legion Alpha as my background last week, but it's just so pretty. This is like just another side of it. You just like spin your cam around and all of a sudden you're looking at this. This has to be the Holy Priest side of it. You've got like some Draenei like crystals. You've got some light just cause, you know, it's nice to have light places, just like big balls of it with like spouts. It's good. So yeah, this week we have gotten a Legion launch date confirmed. This actually happened just a day or two after I did the last vlog. I believe we got this on Monday, and Legion is going to be officially released on August the 30th, which is, you know, it's not September. It's barely not September, but it's not September, so that is when the date is officially coming out. So that means a lot of things for a lot of different people. People are going to be trying to finish up Hellfire Citadel if they're not done that yet. People are going to be trying to squeeze the last bits of gold out of their garrison before that is cut right off because, of course, once the pre-patch drops, which is probably going to be roughly 3 weeks-ish before that August 30th date, your garrison gold is going to be real nerfed, so you want to make sure you make the most out of that. And then for me, mostly what I'm thinking about in terms of the release date is how much PvP season we have left. So a conservative estimate is 3-ish months, another like 12-ish weeks of WoD Season 3, which should give me a good amount of time to really shoot for the stars. I've been queuing my new main team, and we have a couple of nights a week that we actually just get on and we just queue. And I've been really excited about that. We actually made it up to about 2,500 MMR. I was at like 2460 CR, which was a new high for me last night. And then I made some bad decisions and we tanked that right back down. But there's hope. There's hope for me still. I still have a lot of work to do. At my current play level, I'm not glad material, but I have confidence that if I actually work really hard and I keep watching my games and doing all the right stuff, that within 3 months that maybe I might be just good enough to snag that Gladiator Hazel and get myself a stupid Grand mount that I will never ride because it is ugly as hell. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to keep trying for Glad. I'm not going to set my heart on it. It's not going to be the end of the world if I spend 2 seasons as a duelist. That is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. But I want it. I want to be Gladiator Hazel. How cool does that sound? Anyways, speaking of Gladiator stuff, for Legion, they announced Glad mounts. They announced these vicious coursers, like these horses. It's like the unicorns, but with armor. And then everybody flipped their lid because those were not cool enough. And I was kind of with them on that. They were fine for, like, a vicious saddle, like one of those mounts that you get for completing 100 threes wins or some amount of RBG wins, or maybe prestige rewards. That would have been fine too, but for gladiator mounts, they were very underwhelming, and Blizzard actually listened, and just recently, I think today, they announced that they have received our feedback, and instead, for Legion gladiator mount, they're going to be doing infernals. So there's some models that have been data mined on Wowhead that you can take a look at, and they're pretty cool. A lot of people are very upset that we're not getting Storm Drakes instead, just because there's a new Storm Drake model happening in Legion. It looks pretty cool, and I'm sure they could definitely do some really neat gladiator skins of that, but I may be the only one here, but I'm actually okay with the Infernal thing, just because if Legion is anything like WoD, we're not going to be able to fly for the vast majority of the expansion, and I've always found Drakes and other gigantic winged flying mounts to look real stupid on the ground. And it would feel weird to me, and I'm sure this is why they're doing it. It would feel weird to me to be on a Drake, running around Suramar or wherever, unable to fly, just like, you know, doing my little Drake waddle. So I'm okay with the Infernals. I'm not even confident that I'm going to be anywhere in a bracket to get them, because who knows what Legion PvP is going to be like. Who knows if anybody's even going to play. There are some questionable decisions going into talents right now. I just had it pointed out to me today. There's a new talent on the Resto Shaman PvP tree. And what this talent does is if you get interrupted, if somebody successfully kicks you, you get 20 seconds of being unkickable. You are immune to further interrupts for 20 seconds. It rewards you for being bad. It penalizes a different player for successfully kicking you, which means that they juked they actually did not get juked and they landed their kick, and then all of a sudden you can just cast for 20 seconds. And it's not like can only happen once every, 3 minutes or something. There was no internal cooldown listed. It just said if you get kicked, then hooray, you can cast for 20 seconds. So, that's a thing. I really, really hope they backpedal on that one, because, gosh. I'm not a designer, but some of these decisions just sound iffy. Anyways, also speaking of Legion and PvP, I'm kind of on a PvP train right now. They also announced this week the BlizzCon 2016. The Road to BlizzCon 2016, the tournament rules. So, of course, every BlizzCon, there's a big arena tournament. I love watching it. I get so excited. It's like my favorite event of the year. It's basically the Super Bowl, but for me. And and they announced the tournament rules this year. So because of the awkward timing of the release of the Legion X pack, the qualifiers for this event are going to be played on the WOD patch, and then the regionals are going to be played on the Legion patch. So that's something. Somebody could be just like top tier. Like, you could have all these teams that qualify for regionals that are really good at WOD, and then what if they just don't, like, everybody's gonna have to completely relearn a new system. It's not like there's just a couple of spell changes. Like, they're completely redoing the combat system for Legion, so that's a pretty big thing, but I also don't really think there's a way around that. There's no way that they'd be able to rush through qualifiers and everything after the Legion patch is out, especially not giving enough people enough time to, like, get their artifact weapons leveled up to practice with all the talents and stuff, and get all the PvP talents and level and learn how all the stuff works together. Like, there's no way. So I see why they had to do that. I think it sucks. It would have been much better if they could have just gotten Legion out a couple months earlier and given everybody time to do the whole thing in the Legion patch. And I'm sure that's what they originally wanted to do, but they just ran out of time. So whatever. What are you going to do? But it gets worse. So there's going to be qualifier cups. And that's fine. There's going to be, I think they said 3 qualifier cups for each region. So, for example, the North America region is going to have 3 qualifier cups, 3 separate tournaments that determine who is going to be competing at the regionals. And they have said, good thing, there's going to be prize money for the qualifiers, which is new. So it's kind of nice that they're going to be putting a little bit of extra prize money into WoW Esports. It kind of shows that they have its best interest at heart. But then they go ahead and stomp all over that by saying, hey, if you win one of these qualifier cups, you can re-enter subsequent qualifier cups. So if you win the first one and you have secured your spot at the Road to BlizzCon regionals, you can just go, okay, well, I'm going to fight in this next one. And I suppose their reasoning is then you have a chance at even more money, but you're already going to the regionals. You already have a chance at plenty of money. And then maybe you have friends. Maybe your friends have a comp that's countering them, and you specifically, like, try and knock out that comp. Maybe you queue into your friends and you, like, sneakily throw the game in such a way that they can't actually accuse you of doing it, but, like, you definitely lose. Like, it's so open to manipulation and abuse, and to think that the community is not going to do that is naive. I don't, like, it's just a fact of gaming. If there's a system and it can be abused, it is going to be abused. That's just what gamers do. So, yeah, that's a terrible idea. And then there was one other thing I was upset about. What was it? Oh, roster swap. So this I'm not super upset about because I kind of understand the reason for it, but you're allowed to make one swap to your roster. Like, not just like moving people around within your pre-selected team, but actually taking somebody brand new from the world and switching them onto your team. Up until, I think, September the 6th was the date they put out for that. Don't quote me on that, but sometime in September. Sometime presumably after those qualifiers have happened. So you win qualifiers, you get yourself a regional spot, and then all of a sudden you can just, like, boot somebody and bring in somebody new that didn't even qualify with you. And I guess it, like, that's not too open to abuse. My first thought was, what if people just, like, buy their way onto teams that really want to play? But I don't think a team would want to risk their chance by letting somebody buy their way on if they didn't really deserve to be there and they weren't the best player for the spot. And the benefit to having that roster swap is that if somebody can't travel to the tournament, if somebody randomly gets sick or has a family emergency or can't play for whatever reason, you don't have to go in crippled with only 3 members, kind of like Cloud9 had to do in last year's BlizzCon. So I kind of see that one. That one I can understand. The one rule that I just think they need to backpedal on is the only one that they can, is they should absolutely not be allowing players to re-enter subsequent qualifier cups if they've already won one. If you've got your spot, you should be done. That should be it. I don't see any good reason why that should be the case. The other rules, they're iffy, but I understand them. I understand where they're coming from, and I don't think there's really a better alternative, but that one is just silly. So anyways, personally, in my own life, I have completely abandoned my stream schedule. So in the past, for the past 6 months, 8 months, maybe even a year, I don't know, I haven't been keeping count. I've been streaming basically 6 days a week for between 3 and 6 hours a night. And I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I met a lot of really cool people. And basically what it comes down to is streaming was taking too much of my energy. It was not giving me enough, and this is kind of cold, but it was not paying me well enough for my time relative to the income that I would get from focusing on YouTube videos. And I'm quite broke, so that is actually an important factor for me. And also, the thing that really, like, those, I was fine with those. I knew both of those things for a long time. I knew it was taking a lot of time. I knew I wasn't making anything off it, and I was still having so much fun that it was worth it. But the thing that really changed my mind on wanting to stream 6 days a week and stream all of my arena queues was when I took a week off, just to kind of reset myself. When I took a week off and I queued all week, I practiced arena every night without streaming it. I play a lot better when I'm not watching stream at a corner of my eye. Like, when I don't have to worry about people, like, keeping an eye on the chat, I don't have to worry about moderating it, I'm not, like, looking at the viewer count, I'm not worrying about drop frames. I don't have music on. That's the other thing, is when I'm streaming, I usually stream with music, so it's not, like, awkwardly silent. But I notice when I play without music, I also focus better. These are all things that just kind of, like, chip away at my available mental RAM, so to speak. And when I turn them off, I play quite a bit better. So that's just going to be the new thing I do. I'm not quitting streaming entirely, but I'm not going to stream main team queues. I am not going to be streaming on a schedule. I'm pretty much just going to turn it on whenever I feel like it for either alt games or miscellaneous WoW stuff, like maybe if I want to do some mount runs and I want to, like, hang out and chat with you guys, or maybe I want to do some pet battle stuff. Or I might stream some other games. If I ever get some time and I want to just, like, throw on some Dark Souls 3 and hang out with you guys, then I will turn it on. But I will not be streaming regularly. It's probably going to be much less often, especially at first, because I'm kind of decompressing from my, like, 8 months of streaming every day. And, yeah. I do apologize to everybody that has been so supportive at coming out to all the streams. I know it can be really disappointing, and I'm gonna miss hanging out with you guys every day. But I do think this is the best move for me, and I think it's gonna give me a lot more energy and time to focus on making more YouTube videos, especially in this run-up to Legion. And also, another thing in terms of Legion and YouTube is that they have announced some very specific pet battle changes coming in Legion to kind of try and disarm the Howl Bomb strategy, and a couple of other things. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to completely invalidate pretty much every pet battle strat I have. So once Legion is out, I'm going to need a huge amount of time to redo basically all of my pet battle strats, because I want to have a working strat available for every tamer, or at least every relevant tamer, on my channel, and I'm going to need to redo them all in Legion, and I need as much time as I can get. So that is my reasoning. That is what is happening. My deepest apologies for anybody that's going to miss those, but I still do podcasts on Mondays. You can still catch the Emerald Dreamcast on Mondays. If you cannot make it live to the Emerald Dreamcast, you can stream it. There's a D20 crit link. I think there's one underneath the podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. And I do eventually upload them to YouTube after a couple of days once I get them kind of sorted out for YouTube as well. So you can listen to me there. I'll still be making videos. I'll still be doing vlogs every week. And I'm not going anywhere. Also, if you do want to chat, I tend to hang out in a couple of streams. My friend Ben Zerker streams, and my friend Wallabear. He was a Blizzcon champion or not a champion, but a contender last year. I stay in that stream like a lot, so I can usually be found hanging out there if you ever want to chat. And yeah, that's that. What else has happened this week? Just yesterday in a new Legion Alpha build, they released Suramar, which is actually 110 Legion zone. I always thought that it was going to be another leveling zone. I figured that it was going to be just another leveling zone, so you would go through all the zones, then you'd be level 110, but it turns out it's more of like a Tanan jungle style zone where you go there at max level, you do dailies, you get some artifact power, and I'm not really 100% clear on what else it's for, just because I went there yesterday, and I played through a bunch of it, and I'm very confused, and I got quite upset because there's this hole, and I fell in it, and you can't get out of the hole, like you have to hearth out of the hole. And, yeah, and then I managed to fall in the hole again. I had, like, another 15 minutes. My Hearthstone's like, well, this is just the worst. But I also try to do the zone at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I don't always make the best decisions at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So maybe I'll try it again during the daytime and like it better. But, yeah, I did a little bit of that. We've been doing a lot of dungeons, and I'm going to be coming out with some dungeon overview videos. I'm almost done my Halls of Valor one. And basically what those are going to be is they're going to be footage of my run through the dungeon with just some really quick notes about major boss abilities, so that if you watch those, then you'll be able to, when you go through the dungeon on live, just have a basic idea of what's going on. So, you know, what you need to get out of, what you need to stand in, what you need to watch out for, just basic stuff like that. And I know lots of people make videos like that, but why not throw another one on the pile? Don't see why not. In my real life, my tomatoes have gotten so big so fast. They're just like, I think they pretty much maxed out their size for like the empty milk jugs that I have them in now, so I need to pick up some more soil and get them in. Like, I've got these big like 5-gallon, maybe even 10-gallon, maybe it's 8-gallon, I don't know, these really big pots that I'm gonna put them in. I gotta pick up some tomato cages, and I'm just so excited. I had a dream last night. I had a dream about the tomatoes, like growing tomatoes faster than I could eat them, and I was like trying to pick them before they like went bad because there were so many tomatoes. So I'm considering that as a good omen that my tomatoes will be fruitful, because I'm just like really excited about having fresh tomatoes. They're gonna be cherry tomatoes, like the little yummy ones. You can like eat them like candy. You can like saute them with like a little bit of oil and some herbs and like stick them on a salad, throw them on a pizza. You can just like make sandwiches with them. You can, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love tomatoes, fresh tomatoes specifically. Grocery store tomatoes are like fine, they're food, but fresh tomatoes, it's good stuff. Questions for the week. Dan asked, you mentioned setting up the shipyard in the Garrison Gold Guide. Are you planning on doing a video on it? Thanks. Okay, so I was planning on doing a video on it. Currently, between the Legion Alpha and having an actual launch date for Legion, and the fact that we only got really a few months left of WoD, I don't think I'm going to do it. Setting up your shipyard in order to make gold, especially if you're starting from scratch, it takes probably at least a month. It takes a good number of weeks to get rolling initially. And considering that it's almost certainly going to get nerfed once the pre-patch drops, I think it is honestly too late to be worth doing, especially because in order to really get it going without you needing to spend a whole bunch of time every day, you need to be doing Tourney dailies as well to get to Revered with Hand of the Prophet or whatever the Horde equivalent is, so that you can get the oil rig to get a steady supply of oil. The gist of it, if you've already done Tourney dailies and you've got the reps run down and you just want to know how you do it, the gist of making gold using the shipyard is you want to just spam craft ships until you have the right crews. And what the right crew means is you want at least a couple of Murloc ships that you don't need to use in your transport, so those ones kind of do double duty. You want a couple of human ships just to give you good success chance on the missions, and then you want all the rest of your ships to have dwarven crews, because dwarven crews give that 100% gold bonus. So you throw dwarven crewed ships onto gold missions, and you're going to be making a couple thousand gold per mission. So that's kind of the basics of it. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of oil, and it takes a good amount of luck too, because you're just crafting the ship, and then if you get a bad crew, you just go and you delete it, and then you craft another one. You got to continue waiting for them to finish crafting, unless you have a bunch of garrison resources to pour into like the work orders. But the whole thing's kind of a mess. I haven't honestly bothered to do it properly. I kind of got half started on 2 of my characters, and I was like, this is a huge amount of time, and I don't even have time to do my garrison stuff anymore. So that is how you do it if you are interested in it. But honestly, if you haven't started yet and you're not already like partially done that, I wouldn't bother. We don't have enough time left. You're better off just making gold with the garrison, just the normal treasure hunter missions in the garrison just for now, and get the most out of that while that is still available. So that has been my week. If any of you have any questions you would like me to talk about or answer on a Saturday vlog, just leave them as a comment on the most recent vlog. Let me know what you think, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!